Hey guys, one of the diets that I personally use a lot, that I personally get great results from, whether bulking or cutting, is the steak and eggs diet. It's also a diet that a lot of people, when I post on Instagram or on YouTube or on my blog, I get a lot of people that are interested in learning more about it and trying it. Now, obviously, it's called the steak and eggs diet, so eggs are a large part of it. And because of that, a lot of times the question comes up whether you can safely eat raw eggs or not, or if you're going to get sick. Now, some people talk about like getting a health benefit from eating either raw or cooked eggs. Some say that you destroy certain enzymes, certain vitamins, whatever, in the eggs when you cook them. Some people say that you can only get the good things out of an egg when you cook them, and you don't get them when you're raw. I've heard both sides. Nobody agrees. Nobody's come up with like a final decision about this. I really don't think it matters, because for me and other people that I've read about on the internet or I've spoken to personally that have tried eating a lot of raw eggs and tried eating a lot of cooked eggs, nobody notices the difference, okay? So I really don't think there's much of a difference in terms of the benefits you get, like eating them cooked as opposed to raw. However, the fact of the matter is, I like diets that use eggs. I think that the egg is like the perfect food. Cholesterol is good for you, especially if you're a man. It helps your testosterone. A lot of mental benefits that you get in terms of like being positive, not being depressed. It's really is, it's a source of like fat that you need in your body, okay? It helps you keep your calories up, and also the ratio of protein to fat in a whole egg is perfect. The only problem that I really have with it is I don't like eating cooked eggs. I don't like eating eggs at all, actually. You'll see in my Instagram, sometimes I'll be out at Denny's or IHOP, and I'll get steak and eggs, or I'll get like a hamburger patty, and I'll get like a couple cooked eggs. Sometimes at home, I'll go ahead and I'll cook like, some beef in a frying pan, put it on a plate, then I'll cook like 2 or 3 eggs and like fry them, and I'll put them on top, and I'll eat them like that. But in general, the way I like to start my day is I'll just drink 5 raw eggs, okay? It's fast before I go to the gym. It gets easily absorbed into my body. I don't have to bother cooking it, and I don't have to bother eating it, because eating 5 cooked eggs at one time, I don't like to eat cooked eggs. So I eat a lot of raw eggs. First of all, I just want to say I am not a doctor. I am also not a food preparation specialist, okay? So this is just my experience and my research. In terms of getting salmonella, because that's the big thing we're talking about with raw eggs. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and put out a lot of stuff that, like I said, I've either researched or had personal experience with. First of all, I started drinking raw eggs when I was in high school, and this is going back a few years for me. That was back in like, the late 80s, early 90s kind of thing, where people were like, talking about how bad cholesterol is, which is not true. Another subject, another video. And so what I would do is I would just separate the yolk from the egg white, and I would just drink the egg whites. Sometimes I drink them straight, sometimes I mix them with orange juice. But the idea is, when I was a kid, I was drinking raw eggs a lot, okay? Never got sick. Apparently, there's like a 1 in 20,000 chance of getting salmonella from an egg, okay? And actually, not just that, but like Caesar dressing, Hollandaise sauce, whatever that stuff's called, sunny side up eggs, because they're not completely cooked, they're runny. Sunny side up eggs is a chance to get salmonella. As a matter of fact, when I order from IHOP or Denny's my eggs sunny side up, a lot of times they're like, I am required by law to inform you that that is an uncooked egg, and that you are taking the health risks on your own hand, and da-da-da. Mayonnaise has raw eggs in it. So, if you're afraid to get salmonella from eating a raw egg, you really have to 100% cook the egg to eliminate any chance of salmonella. Like I said, sunny side up or over easy eggs with a runny yolk, that's dangerous, or any of the other things like mayonnaise and whatever I told you about are dangerous too. So Another thing is the best way to really avoid getting any chance at all of salmonella is to get like free range, organic, whatever eggs. Depending upon the way they're kept, okay, the more close to nature they are, the lower the chances of really getting sick. They're usually on the shells. Okay, I personally buy like the cheapest eggs I could find. The egg price went up recently, so even cheap eggs are expensive. But like I said, I basically use the cheapest eggs I can. I'm really careful about the shells. That means I just wash my hands before I crack the eggs. I usually try to wipe off the egg shells because, like I said, it's usually on the shell. Wipe off the eggshells before I crack them. And this is something I got from Victor Pride, who runs a blog called boldanddetermined.com, where I first learned about the steak and eggs diet from, is obviously don't crack the eggs on the side of the container you're going to drink from, like crack them on the counter and then empty them into the container. Don't crack them on the lip of the container and then drink and put your lips right there where you're cracking the eggs, because like I said, they're usually from the the shell. What happens if you get salmonella? Okay, and this is something that's really ridiculous because I've had a lot of people telling me like, oh yeah, that's dangerous, drinking raw eggs while smoking a cigarette. Oh yeah, that's dangerous, drinking raw eggs while they were shit-faced drunk. Okay, yeah, that's dangerous, drinking raw eggs, knowing that they never exercised in their entire life, they're massively overweight, they have diabetes and or problems with their blood pressure, okay, and they're telling me not to drink raw eggs. Well, let me put it like this, okay? I'm not trying to be negative here, I'm not trying to be confrontational, but the fact of the matter is, the worst thing that will happen to you if you get salmonella, which is unlikely, if you get salmonella, the worst thing that's going to happen if you're anything resembling healthy is you will have stomach cramps for 24 to 48 hours and you will produce green feces. Now, the people smoking cigarettes, chain smoking, drunk off their ass on a regular basis, if you defecate your liver because you're an alcoholic, okay, and you shit your liver out of your body, okay, if you're smoking, okay, chain smoking for years, and you get lung cancer, you're going to wish the worst thing that happened to you is that you would produce green feces and have stomach cramps for 24 to 48 hours, okay? If you are massively overweight and you have a heart attack because you're massively overweight, you don't exercise at all, and you're telling me not to have raw eggs because they're bad for you, but you don't care if your heart explodes in your chest, or you don't care if your foot falls off because you have massive diabetes and you don't do anything to lose weight. Like I said, worst case scenario, I produce green feces for 24 to 48 hours and I have a tummy ache. Worst case scenario with diabetes, your leg gets cut off. Okay? You die. Okay? Worst case scenario that you have high blood pressure, you drop dead of a heart attack. Worst case scenario that you're a chain smoker telling me not to eat raw eggs, you die and you live a long and painful death before you finally die. Okay? So like I said, I'm not trying to be confrontational. I'm just saying, let's put this in perspective. Everybody has to make their own decision. Don't go ahead and get salmonella and say, oh, I told you it's perfectly safe to eat raw eggs. No, it's not. All I'm saying is, like I said, keep it in perspective.